everybody. It's Eddie Brill here, the host of OG Chat with my co-host Vlad Grinberg, my hero. Vlad, how are you?
Hey guys, how are you?
I'm all right, and we have a very special guest today. We're very excited about musician, also a vegan activist, our friend Doyle. Hi, Doyle.
Hey guys, how you doing?
We're all right. We're doing this show now. We've been doing this TV show out of the Organic Grill. And then this pandemic hit, so we're now behind closed doors. So that's kind of the new title of it. But in a weird way, it's good because before, everyone was traveling or touring, and now we're, stuck at home behind closed doors. So, so we're very lucky to have you here.
Thank you. Thanks for having me. Yeah.
It's a pleasure. How did you guys meet? How did Vlad and you meet? Did you?
John Joseph, we were doing a march, Elisa and I, in New York City, and he spoke too. She was a speaker, and we needed another speaker. We called him. He came right down and just started going off on the mic like he does. And he says, "Meet me at Organic Grill," and we went there, and that's how we met.
That's fantastic. Yeah, I've been
the minute Doyle came into the restaurant, everybody started clapping. Like,
oh, that's great. Yeah, so I remember that march, and that's pretty good. Your girlfriend has put that together. Did she start that, or she runs it, or what's the story with that?
No, they asked her to speak, and she did. She's also a singer and a vegan. She got me into it. She's in a band called Arch Enemy.
Mm-hmm.
And
that's pretty cool. I've been in the East Village for 40 years in August. We have the same friends, Tish and Snooky, who I live down the street from them. And,
oh, awesome.
I spend my whole time at CBGB's, and the poster was up for the Misfits, and it was just so exciting to see this sort of horror show poster of this band. And, of course, we all had to find out who you guys were. What was it like in those early days? I moved back to New York City 1980 when you can afford to live in the East Village. And it was just crime and hell, but there was a lot of rock and roll. Yeah.
Well, I was a kid. So, I was a large kid, I'm an overgrown, Cro-Magnon man compared to most people. At 12 years old, I was getting in all the clubs. I was going to Max's and Hurrahs and all that shit.
Yeah.
Getting served at fucking 12 like an idiot. And then I joined the band at 15. I recorded the Walk Among Us record at 15.
Wow.
And then my first show was 1980. I was 16. We played Irving Plaza. Freeman J. Hawkins opened up for us.
Yeah. Wow. I'm such a fan of his.
Yeah,
so your brother was, said to you, "Look, you're a kid, and I want you to come hang out with me," or did you pester him?
He would just bring me around. I was as big as all those guys, so it wasn't like I was a little kid or nothing. And yeah, he bought me a guitar for my 8th grade graduation, and I started playing. Glenn showed me the bar chord, and Jerry told me the notes on the 2 big strings, and that's all I ever learned. So when people are like, "Hey, let's jam," and I'm like, all I know is the songs I play. I don't know anything else.
Well, if you know 3 chords, I think you can play most rock and roll.
The good songs, yeah.
Yeah, that's very true. With only 2 chords, then you have to make great words. I guess that would be that.
Yeah.
So how did your peers perceive you at 15? You were playing in a band already. Was they jealous? Like, did they think that you're cool, or it wasn't the thing to do?
The best thing about it was I was in a band, a punk rock band, and back then that was brand new. I was actually the first kid, I think, ever to go to school with colored hair. I had fluorescent pink hair, which I got from, I've known like 40 years, and I got kicked out of school, and all the kids that were in these like cover bands, they would do Led Zeppelin songs or whatever the fuck they would do. They all used to make fun of me.
Right.
And now here I am, we sell out the Garden.
Right, exactly. Well, that's that's what happens, throughout life. You're original, you're authentic, you do what makes sense to you, and you get shit from all these people, but life is not about pleasing other people. It's about doing what you like the most. And usually the most successful people are the people who don't give a shit about what other people say to them, especially when you're a kid in high school and you're the first punk rocker. You
Yeah.
know, everyone's going to give you shit because they're freaked out. They're freaked out at your authenticity.
Yeah, they were freaked out. Yeah, man. I mean, it's like writing a record. You don't write like, hey, what are the people gonna like? No, you gotta like it. If you don't like it, how are you gonna make everybody else believe that it's good?
Right. And then, your attitude, from what I've read and all that on stage is like, I just want to rock the shit out of this music and, who cares what anyone thinks? And then it turns out that the place goes wild because you bring that attitude.
Oh yeah, I could care less. I mean, sometimes I'll just in the middle of a song stop playing. You know, I don't give a fuck.
Because, oh, because you
Just
don't give a
because.
fuck. Right. So what do you do
Sometimes
during
I
that
forget what
time?
I'm doing.
Yeah. It'd be fun for you, I think, because your workout is such an important part of your life, is in the middle of a song, just go pick up some weights, throw your guitar down and work out.
Or show your vegan protein to everyone, huh?
Yeah, my protein. Yeah, got a protein. It's just came out maybe 2 weeks ago, 3 weeks
Mm-hmm.
ago.
Tell us about it.
Yeah, we just got it in. It's all vegan, all non-GMO, organic. It's called Vegan Monster Protein, and yeah, it's through a company. I joined forces with this company called Conscious Muscle, which is a vegan company. 10% of the proceeds go to an animal shelter. We choose a different one each time, and
Mm-hmm.
we're already working on the second flavor. So it's going.
And half of the questions I got from people who send it to me were how Doyle exercises, and let's ask him about protein. So obviously this product is very popular.
Yeah, I've been working on this for a couple of years now. Trying to keep it hush hush, and yeah, it's been a long journey, and I'm gonna have one in my hand on Monday, and I can't wait to fucking open it and fucking try it. I tried all the samples and got it to taste as great as I can, because I feel there's going to be a lot of people who drink whey protein, and the whey protein is much more, I say sugar tasting, you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And I don't want it to taste like fucking grass, so when they taste it, they're like, oh, vegan horse shit, it's,
Right.
no, fuck everybody.
Yeah, but don't you think that, taste buds change once you become a vegan and you get real food in your body? Then that stuff that, people don't think of it as tastes like grass. It actually tastes incredible because it's real.
That's true. I mean, there's some vegan proteins I taste. When I first taste them, I'm like, whoa. And then all of a sudden I'm like, yeah, this is no problem. I don't really have a problem with the taste. For me, I don't give a fuck, but
Right.
I want to sell these fucking guys who are sucking the tit off a fucking cow.
Right. Yeah, you want to make vegan lollipops or something that'll, remind them of their mothers and at the same time put money in your bank account.
Yeah, I'll just sell a nipple with each bottle.
It's perfect. I like the idea. I'm first in line for that.
I'm sure once you started to be open about being vegan, a lot of people turned to being vegan and exercise, because you were always like a poster of a stout and strong man on a stage, and for you to show that you can do it without any animal products was probably revolutionary for most of the people, huh?
Yeah, I get DMs on my Instagram every day, at least a dozen or more. And this is what inspires me, actually. I get them and they say, I play guitar because of you. I work out because of you. I'm vegan because of you. And you know what I tell them? No, it's because of you. That's all you. I didn't do it. You're doing
Right.
Right.
That's great. That really is great. And that goes back to the interesting thing is when you're a kid, you're growing up, you're a punk, all this. How did the animal thing become part of your life? The love for animals, the activism for animals.
Well, as a kid, I always had dogs and cats and all kinds of stuff, and I loved those animals. They were great. They were my best friends. And I remember the first time I heard about veganism, it was like I'm going to say 96, 97. I was at a festival with the Misfits, and H2O was there. We ran into them. Hey, and Toby, the singer, he started telling me about it. And I didn't understand it at first. He's like, I want to get me some vegan bologna. I'm like, wait a minute. You don't want to eat meat on something that's like bologna. And I guess he was so sick of trying to explain it. He didn't really explain it to me. He was just like, never mind. You'll never understand. And he would have explained it. And I wish I would have got it, 20 years earlier. My biggest regret about going vegan is not doing it earlier.
Yeah, I think all of us have that same thing. I wish, I knew that when I was a kid, but who's going to listen? When you're a kid, you're a rebel. And, I mean, most kids who are artists are rebels, and you're not going to listen. But unless your hero, like if, George Carlin was eating, vegan food, I would be all over that,
Yeah, it's the truth,
That's
man.
true, and I'm sure that Doyle is a hero for a lot of those youngsters who becoming vegan, who are more in tune with music.
Yeah, also you were mentioning Max's, where I hosted the very last show at Max's, and Hurrah's, where I saw the Gang of Four and the Au Pairs back in 1980. A lot of these places are gone. They're all gone. CBGB's is gone. It's a fucking, Barbados shop. It's, how does that make you feel? Where do you have to go now to be able to do these kind of shows?
I just do my own shows now, or if my friends come to town, I'll go see them. Other than that, I don't go to shows unless it's a big concert that I would like to go to, and I can get tickets to and just go to and just, not get noticed being there, that. But otherwise, like clubs and shit, I don't go look at new bands. I don't have time, man. I need to be writing music, not going and looking at other shit. You know what I mean?
Who influenced you earlier? I'm guessing Alice Cooper might be one of them. It's just a guess.
Alice Cooper, I met Alice Cooper years ago. We played the Felt Foreman, but then my girlfriend did a video with Kane Roberts and him recently, and she took me with them. And she's like, "You want to go?" I'm like, "Are you fucking kidding me? Of course I want to go."
Yeah.
And it was great because Alice knew my name when I got there. You know what I mean? He's like, "Yeah, I follow you guys on Instagram. I feel like I'm your fucking marriage counselor," But and I told him, and I said, "I look like the way I look because of you." You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, Alice Cooper, to me, I listen to Alice Cooper so much that I used to wear the fucking cassettes out and the 8-track tape. They were worn the fuck out.
I know. $1 Billion Babies was, I think I played that, too many times to freak out all my friends, but it's one of the greatest, rock opera songs from my childhood,
I listened to the Alice Cooper's Greatest Hits. I had it on every fucking medium or whatever the fuck you call it that they made.
Yeah. But it was easy to figure out that was one of your influences. For me, it was. Who else, who maybe we don't know were your influences growing up?
Back then, I'm going to say Queen. I loved Queen, David Bowie, Aerosmith. Like the first 4 albums of Aerosmith are just fucking phenomenal. Led Zeppelin. What else?
What did your parents listen to in the house?
You know why we're actually musicians? My mom was a 50s kid, and she had every 45 from the 50s, and that's what we started listening to as kids because we had the little record player. You flip it up. We'd listen to all those old songs, from the 50s, and that's what she listened to. And she always had the radio going, and she let us go mental at the house. She would let us rehearse in the garage super loud till the cops come. Then she would fight with the cops. You know what I mean? She let us do what we wanted to do, and it worked. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
My dad thought we were idiots. He thought we were idiots. He had he had race horses, and he was bald, so we gave him Misfits merch. So he had a Misfits hat on. He went to the racetrack, and some young kid comes up to him. He says and goes, "Misfits, cool." And he goes, "You know who they are?" He thought nobody knew who the fuck we were.
That's fantastic. What kind of horses did he have? Trotters, pacers, thoroughbreds?
Thoroughbreds, and he's the kind of guy who, if he was alive and knew we were playing the Garden and sold it out, you know what he would have said? He would have lit a cigar and said, "Well, you can't sell out an NFL stadium."
I understand that. That probably pushed you.
Yeah, yeah. Well, he would let us go on tour, but we had to work our balls off before we would leave the work, you know? Unbelievable.
Yes, that's what I actually wanted to lead people to. It looks like you were just a punk who started your band early with your brother, but in reality, you and your brother supported the band financially when you started. You were working in a machine shop to make money to support the band in your early
Yeah,
age. So you were not just a punk who didn't do anything. You had a craft to fall on, right?
no, we worked so much, and yeah, we paid for everything. Anytime the band made money, we would just give it to Glenn because he didn't have a job. We should stay home and fucking write songs. We're gonna go to work. We'd go to work. We would have to go play a show in New York City, break down, and go to work at 6 o'clock in the morning that same night. You know?
And I
Yeah,
know
no.
that you even make your own instrument at the time, right? You made your own cabinets, you made your own guitar.
Yeah, made everything in the shop, and yeah, and I still use those things today, all of them.
Do you think that it instills something in you being next to your father who worked in a shop and who had his own business, your brother who worked there? Was it any different than your kid next to you?
You know what? It really, I started working at the shop from like 6 years old. Putting shit together, and then every day after school, I'd have to go, and the next day after high school graduation, 6 in the morning, I found myself in the fucking shop, and I was like, I should just blow my brains out right now. This is horrible. But
Yeah,
what
we're
it
laughing
taught,
about it, but it's true.
it's true. And it was like being in prison. We worked fucking 12 hours, 18 hours a day, 6, 7 days a week for fucking 30 years straight, you know?
Yeah.
But what it did, it taught us how to work, you
It gave
know?
you that work ethic.
Yeah, I mean, when I'm on the road, I get up, I work out. I'm sponsored by a company called Power Block Dumbbells. They give me dumbbells and benches, and I have them all over the world. I have them in Europe, LA, Canada, New York. And I get up and I crank that shit out, shave my fucking face so I can put makeup on later, shave my whole fucking body.
Mm.
I get to eat, and then I'm putting that makeup on for 4 or 5 hours and taking it off for an hour. I'm fucking working all day,
But that's the way it goes. I mean, a lot of people look at, on the surface, concerts, or look at bands, or look at any artist, but they don't know, the ones who really dedicate themselves completely are the ones who do well, the ones who at least feel like they're doing well.
Yeah, they also think, oh, you just got to work an hour a day. An hour a day, is that right? By the
Yeah.
time I'm doing meet and greets, I want to murder everybody. I've been working for 15 straight hours, and I want to wash this shit off, eat some oatmeal, and go the fuck to bed. You know what I mean? And
I
they
do.
wonder why I want to do that, because I have to do it after the show. I don't have time before the show. There's no time.
And I really appreciate when you always talk about how much musicians work and how hard they piece of bread is. And you always tell people, don't steal our music, otherwise we can't create anything new. And there is a huge generation of new kids that don't even know what it means not to download music but buy it. And I really appreciate the message behind you. And you always say, guys, support the artist, buy their music, or they can create.
It's true. I mean, this pandemic hit, and me and my girl and all of us musicians, we might not work for 2 years. This shit might have to start in fucking 2022. That's what they're talking. They're talking the end of fucking 2021 to even start shows.
I
People
know.
have rescheduled, but I don't think any of them are going to happen until next year, maybe the middle of next year.
Yeah, because even if you get people, even if it sort of lets down a little bit, who's going to want to spit and sweat around a whole shitload of other people? And you
Not
can't
right
have
away.
a concert with 1/3 the crowd in there.
No, 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 no. It's tough, man.
Yeah. So tell me about the growth of music for you as far as your band, because you have your own band, Doyle. Of course, you're with the Misfits. You guys got back together for a tour. How did that happen, and what went along that path?
For the Misfits to come back?
Well, but yeah, first the Misfits, you were there, and then you decided to have different bands and your own band, and then you
Yeah.
went back to the Misfits. I mean, it's an interesting process because a lot of people, a lot of bands don't last very long, or a lot of musicians change from the original band. How have you
Yeah.
stayed all the way through?
Well, I started touring with Danzig, and we were doing like a Misfit set. It was called Danzig and Doyle, and I would tour with him. I toured with him for like 9 years, and then he booked some stuff, and I just told him, I says, I don't want to do it. I want to do the Misfits. This is enough. If we keep doing this, we'll never do the fucking Misfits, and that's it.
How
And
did he
then
react?
he just took it and went and played without me. And I had my manager, because he called my manager, said, hey, let's do this show. And he says he doesn't want to do it. He wants to do the. And then I was on tour with Arch Enemy, my girls' band, and me and my manager took Glenn out to lunch. And I told him, look, man, you did Sam Hain, you did Danzig. It's time to do the fucking Misfits. I says, it's time, man. These fans need this shit. It'll be huge, And he's like, all right. And, he didn't say no, which, you would have expected. He's like, okay. He's like, all right. Well, there's some legal shit going on. Once that's done, then we can talk about it. I say, all right. And then I go back and I tell Jerry, hey, Glenn's into it. And then I go back and tell Glenn, hey, Jerry's into it.
And that's what I like so much about you. You're blatantly honest, and you, like everybody I talk to about you, they say, listen, you can say anything you want, but Doyle is always honest. He's going to tell you as it is. And another thing that I hear from everyone I talk to, like a lot of bands coming to New York, and a lot of people obviously know you, and Michael Alaga is your biggest supporter. He's our good friend.
Yep.
He always say, Doyle is loyal to the last. Like, he's so loyal. He's such a good friend. I can always rely on him. And to hear about this makes me feel so good.
Yeah, I mean, I'm so honest and so blatantly, I'm gonna tell you like it is. Sometimes people don't like that.
Yeah, but who gives a shit, right?
But
We
it's
talked about
good.
earlier.
They're not wasting your time, right?
Yeah, they'll ask me, hey, what do you think of my new song? I'm like, I don't know. I think it sucks, but you like it, that's cool. What do you mean it sucks? Oh, don't ask.
Don't ask, right? Exactly. Don't ask if you don't want to. People say, do you mind if I ask you something? Which is a weird thing to do anyway. And I go, if you don't mind hearing the truth, then they, proceed at their own caution.
Yeah, that's a good way to say that. Yeah, if you don't mind hearing the truth, yeah.
Yeah, which is the truth. All right.
Yeah.
So what's going on for the future now? Now that you're at home, are you recording? Are you doing these little shows that everyone else is doing?
I'm not doing little shows because I have no way to do it. Number one, and number two, I'm not putting that shit on for 4 hours unless I have 100 things to fucking do. You know what I mean?
Right.
But I have a bunch of songs. I'm setting up to demo them right now. Hopefully, to give to Glenn if they'll allow me to write with the Misfits. That would be great. If we're going to do a record, that would be great. If not, then I have Doyle 3 and 3.5.
Yeah, that's very, very true. Yeah, the good thing is that you're constantly creating, you're constantly doing whatever. The makeup and all that stuff that you do is incredible. It's fantastic. It adds to the persona that you have. But deep down inside, that part is always your most authentic self.
Yeah.
So you're in Lodi right now?
No, I'm sitting outside the machine shop right now because it's loud in there and I can't hear anything. So I'm in the car.
The machine shop is still working?
Yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
Ah, that's so cool. So tell us, how was it to be in a band with your older brother? Was it a good thing? Was it a bad thing?
It's both. It's good because growing up it was better. Now that there's like lawyers and shit involved, it's not as fun as you would think.
Right. I can imagine.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you know what? There's a certain thing among brothers. Like, you look at the throughout history, the best harmonies, the best human harmonies are among family. whether you love each other, you beat each other up or whatever, and you have that, and even if you fight, you still have the, you still have the brothers. You have the Everly brothers. You have, that's where the best music, the best art comes from.
Absolutely. And the timing between brothers, like the Abbott brothers, the Van Halen brothers, me and my brother, I mean, it's fucking tight. You know what I mean? You have the same exact rhythm.
Yeah, because you were born with it. And,
Yeah.
And you got that from dancing to the 45s that your parents had bought.
Exactly.
Around your house. We used to clean our house. My mom would get me to clean by dancing with her to, Will You Still Love Me Tomorrow, and, all these great R&B things.
Oh, yeah, it's great. It's great. Like Town and shit, where did that go? That shit was fucking great.
I know. And a lot of those groups are like cousins and sisters and, singing together, which was really, really great.
Oh man, such good singing. Where did all that singing go? Nobody wants to sing anymore.
There's no crooners there's very few crooners left. Those, all you have are these guys who are, like karaoke machines, like Bublé and, these other people. Nice people, but you're not getting the Sinatras and the great songsters. I'm in
the two bands that have the only two crooners I could fucking think of, honestly.
And, yeah, right. You're right. You know what's interesting? I find Elvis Costello to be old, like a crooner in a sense. I've seen him live, and he gets away from the microphone, stands in the middle of the Beacon Theater, and sings, and you could hear him without the microphone. He's actually, he might not be the type of music that everyone likes, but I think he's one of the last of the crooners.
Wow, cool. That's cool. Yeah, one time I was a little kid. My dad went to see Tony Bennett and took me to Radio City. And he didn't use the mic, and you could hear him from the whole place. You could fucking hear him.
Yeah, I'm sure that influenced you in some way.
I like how always Doyle says that you can be a virtuoso musician, but if you don't have a good song, if you don't have a good music, it's just a skill, nothing else. So there is more to techniques than just art has to be first.
Yeah, it's like a lot of people like trolls on the internet. Like if I leave a comment on Zakk Wylde's thing or some other great guitar player, they're like, "Oh, you should take a lesson from him because you can't play your fucking guitar." I'm like, I play great songs. I don't give a fuck if I could play one fucking solo. I don't know a fucking scale. I don't know an arpeggio, a G clef. I don't know any of that shit. I play.
But you learn what the names were, but that's all. Arpeggio, yeah, that's my Italian neighbor, Johnny Arpeggio.
Luigi Arpeggio.
And Doyle, I want to talk a little bit more about your other passion. I read that you said that if I have another arm on a stage, I would eat. Like you're a big fan of food, as I know, and everywhere you go, people send you a lot of vegan food, huh?
Oh my God, on the road, I get so many fans bringing us brownies and like so much food. Like the restaurants will DM me and they're like, "I have a vegan restaurant. I'd like to bring you some food." I'm like, "I have 12 guys. If you can't bring enough for 12 guys, don't bring anything." And then they bring it.
I'm in line to do this. And next time you're in New York, we should do it. I'd love to do this.
That would be great.
And we all really, really love and appreciate your union with Elisa and what you guys doing together. I know you're doing some stuff with Jamie Juster, who is a good friend of ours. But who is cooking at home? That's what I'm curious about.
I'm the cleaner, unfortunately.
But I read a couple of recipes you posted about seitan and other things, and you have your own sauce, right? How's this going with sauce?
The sauce is fucking great.
You know that I heard it from few bands that they love your sauce. Is it as hot? Is it as hot as it says?
It is not super hot. It's super tasty.
Wow, you got me puzzled now. Wow.
Yeah,
did you put the sugar in there like you're doing for your
no sugar. If you text me your address after this, I will send you some hot sauce.
Oh man.
Very, very, very exciting.
Yeah.
So, Vlad, you have another question? before
I
we?
just wanted to tell everyone that as scary as Doyle looks, that how soft and kind he is to people he loves, and he takes effort and time to support every freaking vegan business. Like, I almost feel like he gets up in the morning and checks all of our pictures and pictures of restaurants we all love, and he likes them. Like today, I got up in the morning and I saw that he posted some of the pictures, and he put location organic grill. So he's a big supporter. We all appreciate what he does, and he kind of knows that he almost like has to lend his platform to support small businesses like us. And I hope we can do the same. I know, guys, you going through really hard time, like all of us, unfortunately or fortunately. We all in a service business, and we are supporting you to the end. We are going to help as much as we can, and we really appreciate you giving us a hand when we need it.
How
Cool,
can people
man.
reach? How can people reach you? And if they need to, on Instagram and all that other kind of stuff.
There's a link tree that I post on every post. Right now, the website on my bio is for the protein right now, so it's easier for them to get it. I usually there's a link tree in there. I'm on the
And
link.
we're definitely going to add link as well.
Yeah.
That's really good. Well, we can't thank you enough for coming, during this crazy time. Please, when this stuff goes down and the OG opens back up, love to have dinner with you guys.
And you should
Yes.
bring all your crew. 12 people is good.
Yeah, yeah.
I will.
Vlad's done that for me too with my friends. He's such a generous man, and you're the same way. I've never met you, and I'm better off for it. I just want to say that we're OG Talk. This part of it is OG Chat, behind closed doors. We will always want to thank our producer, Rick Cannon, and Sarah Tate, our researcher. We have a really great team, good people around us as well, just like Doyle does. Support Doyle and everything he does. Go over to our YouTube site and like and subscribe and all that stuff. We're on every audio platform you can imagine, and even stuff you can't imagine. So for Vlad, for Doyle, and for our crew, have a beautiful day. I'm Eddie Brill. Have a good one.